These new attacks in Mortal Kombat 1 change everything. You want 60% damage for one bar? You can have it. Do you want crazy chip damage and meter that refills on its own? You can have that too, and so much more. In today's video, I'll be showcasing the two most overpowered attacks in Mortal Kombat 1. So leave a like down below to get your favorite character buffed, and without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off with Baraka, because I think we've all been rooting for this guy. He started off great, then got nerfed into the ground, and has felt lacking ever since. But thankfully he got sauce in the new update. First up we have Heal Smite. You can now hold down his forward 3 to get a higher launch off this move, and it's also better on block as well. By default, Heal Stomp is -7 on block, so barely safe against most fighters, but if charged it becomes +3, which means it's still your turn. You can force a down 1 or a fast mid, all that awesome stuff. And if you check the move list, it says you can throw cancel or fatal blow cancel during the charge. However, that's a mistake. Tyler Lansdowne himself confirmed this on Twitter, which means Baraka will never be able to do this again, and the move list will be updated. For some reason, Rain's the only character in this game who's allowed to have a Kara throw, not our poor boy Baraka. But at least it's plus on block, plus Heal Smite also launches the opponent higher, which allows for better follow-ups, including jump combos. Next up we have Slaughterhouse. This string got a lot of tweaks and frame adjustments. You can now special cancel 2 frames later at several points during this string, which is definitely neat, and on top of that you can now summon all your cameos during the string as well. Before, certain cameos just would not come out during this string, but now they all can. That bug has been fixed, which is definitely cool, but also a bit more technical. So let's skip on to the main event. I'm talking about Desperate Tarkatan. Baraka sacrifices his fatal blow to enter an enraged state, where his best special moves can cancel into other special moves. For example, if I do Bleeding Blade and then amplify, I get the Chop Chop. And of course this works after the EX version as well, which means you get the bleed damage and all the extra chip damage. Just look at the opponent's health melt away. But we're not done here, because Stab Chunk can also be amplified multiple times. As long as you have the meter, you can just keep amplifying it, and guess what? The meter keeps refilling over time and never stops until Baraka is killed. That's right, your meter just keeps refilling no matter what. And yes, that does mean Baraka can spend 4 or 5 bars of meter during the same combo, especially with cameos to help him out. But alright, the special moves. Baraka Barrage can be amplified over and over again to just keep going as long as you have meter, and if you hold down during the amplify, you get the low ender, which can be great for cameo follow-ups. But finally, last but not least, we have the Death Spin, which can actually be looped. That's the funny part. As long as you have meter, you can just keep looping this thing until you run out of bar. It's hilarious. The opponent will never drop out of this combo. As you can see, Desperate Tarkatan is no joke. Crazy combos, but also the meter just keeps refilling, which means you can do crazy stuff over and over again. And in my honest opinion, it's all about that bleed damage, baby. Do a crazy long combo with Baraka, but then end with the Stab Chuck Chuck, because that's gonna activate the bleed damage. Then you go in, force the opponent to block, and just melt their health away with all the crazy chip damage. Look at all that damage he just took on block. It's insanity. If you do one decent combo with Baraka, then end with bleed damage and force the opponent to block one of your strings, they're gonna take 60% damage minimum. It's an amazing comeback mechanic, and I can't wait to see what pro players do with this. There's gonna be crazy combos followed by forced block pressure, which leads to crazy chip damage, and the opponent's gonna be at death's door. It's gonna be crazy. But alright, there's one more very important thing to mention about Desperate Tarkatan. You can combo into and out of this thing if your timing is on point. Look at that, a full combo. That's fantastic, because it's just one more hit confirm for Baraka to have. After landing any hit, cancel into Desperate Tarkatan and then keep the combo going. And in fact, even on block, you should still be at advantage, which means you can force mix-ups like this. Just go for a throw, and with the right cameo, you get a full combo. That's right, you also get new mix-ups, as if Desperate Tarkatan wasn't incredible enough already. Alright everyone, that's about it for Desperate Tarkatan, but do be warned, Baraka loses health over time. But fear not, the health loss is not too crazy. Even so, you don't want to wait too long to activate Desperate Tarkatan, because if you're at death's door with only 5% health and then activate, you're gonna kill your own character. Or in other words, the second you're in Fatal Blow range is when you want to fish for those hit confirms and then activate Desperate Tarkatan to keep your combo going. Or as mentioned earlier, you can even activate it on block since you have crazy frame advantage in most cancel situations. Overall, I think Baraka feels much stronger now, but I do still wish his heal stomp could be cancelled into throw. That would have been really nice. Alright, next up we have Melina, and she gained Crazed Tarkatan, which is very different from Baraka's. She does not build meter over time, and also there's a huge drawback. Once the timer wears off, she gets stunned for a full second, which means your opponent has all day to come in and hit you with the full combo. And get this, you can't even summon cameos after the stun happens. So yeah, you're left pretty vulnerable, but thankfully Crazed Tarkatan is so overpowered that you should be able to easily kill the opponent before the timer runs out. Once activated, Crazed Tarkatan allows you to cancel any string into any other string or any standing normal attack. In other words, only crouch attacks are off limits. You can't cancel into these bad boys. But for everything else, it's open season. You can do normal attack into string, into normal attack, into more strings. You get the idea. Nothing's off limits. And you likely guessed that means crazy combos. Yes, it absolutely does. Every touch from Melina is getting a guaranteed 45% even without meter. Even after her fastest strings, which typically do less combo damage, you're still getting 45%. And then if you do spend a meter, you're getting around 55% easy for just one bar and a cameo summon. It's absolutely crazy. Because just like Baraka, this new state can extend combos, so all that damage is pretty much guaranteed. However, with all that said, it's not the crazy combos that make the Crazed Tarkatan overpowered. No, it's all about the mix-ups, because Melina has tons of overheads, but guess what? Now it's a sweep instead. That's right, and this sweep leads to full combos with the right cameo. Or in other words, literally every overhead in Melina's strings can now be replaced with the sweep to catch the opponent off guard and lead to a full combo. But don't worry, the mix-ups don't stop there, because Melina has the infamous overhead. Hits twice, breaks armor, all that incredible stuff, but now on top of that, it can be used to replace lows and catch the opponent off guard with a hard knockdown. You might not get a combo, but you do get guaranteed pressure every time, plus you're in the opponent's head now. They're worried about this random overhead, so now you can catch them with lows instead. And that's fantastic because these lows lead to a full combo. Now unfortunately, there is one exception. This dial-in string right here, you can't cancel it into the overhead, which is a big shame. Same goes for this string right here. You can't cancel the follow-ups into the overhead because it just doesn't work on dial-ins. I'm not gonna lie, that makes me salty. NetherRealm taking away our mix-ups out here. But even so, it's still crazy how every overhead can be replaced with a low and get a full combo, and then some lows can be replaced with the overhead to get a guaranteed knockdown and just keep the opponent guessing. And if I'm being honest, I think the mix-ups are going to be what makes Crazed Tarkatan so overpowered. Yes, the combos are crazy, but Melina already had crazy combos. But when it came to mix-ups, Melina had basically nothing. Not anymore though. Now every overhead and every low can be a mix-up that leads to more combos or a knockdown into guaranteed pressure. It's incredible. But would you believe me if I said we're still not done? Because look at this, Melina can also cancel her low psi and high psi into each other. So you can do low psi, high psi, low psi, or high psi, low psi, high psi, or you could do high, low, and then EX high to get a combo started. Don't forget about that. Costs 2 meters, but hey, might actually be worth it now. Or if you just want the knockdown, you can do low psi, high psi, EX low psi, get the big knockdown and some extra damage. It's incredible. But then for the cherry on top, did you know the opponent can't combo breaker these psis? Because it's true. I'm gonna give the T1000 full meter and tell him to break combos. Look what happens. Boom, combo broken, right? But now check this out. He can't combo break this. Almost 20% damage guaranteed. There's nothing the opponent can do, even if they have breaker available. So for a second, just imagine your opponent almost has 3 bars, and you notice that, so you switch to size and get guaranteed 20% damage on top of the damage you already had. I won't lie to you, that sounds really crazy to me. Just guaranteed damage the second your opponent gets 3 bars. Alright everyone, that's about it for Crazed Tarkatan. As you can see, it's an incredible move. Crazed crazy combos, amazing mix-ups, and guaranteed combo damage as well. However, the downside is that big stun that happens afterwards, so make sure to kill your opponent as quickly as possible. As you can see, these new abilities in the recent update are the most overpowered attacks in Mortal Kombat 1. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton, and then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdog.